Hey, thanks for clicking in and joining me on the beachside tour of the Galt Mile in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Remember, I'm Amy McGrady, your premier real estateologist. I study and immerse myself in all things real estate for you so that you can get the best deal in Fort Lauderdale. Let's see, what else? I used to be a lawyer. Now I'm retired, so I'm out of the office and into the streets, out here to get you the best deal. So don't forget to call me, text me, WhatsApp me, or hit me up in the comments. I'd be happy to discuss all things real estate with you, whether it be in South Florida or other places as well. I can hook you up with people who have hyper-local knowledge of their areas. All right, so let's go check out the Galt Mile. Boom, here we go. So a little bit of history of the Galt Mile. It's named the Galt Mile because it's approximately 1 mile of beach along the Atlantic Ocean. There was a guy named Arthur Galt. He was an attorney from Chicago, and he bought about 8,000 acres of land in the mid-1920s. It was just raw land. Nothing was built here, and his name stuck. His name stuck. Probably a lot of the reason is he probably built it into the deal because he owned this raw land for 40 years. He sold it to a countess once who had bought it under a British corporate name because women were not allowed to own real estate back then in the 1920s, I think it was. Yeah, it was before the Great Depression. They bought the property from Arthur Galt. They put $1 million down on about, in today's numbers, about $145 million deal. And they bought the property not only here lining the ocean, but also across the Intracoastal into what's now known as Coral Ridge. They had amazing plans to build a golf course, which someone finally did, to have all these hotels and beautiful properties, like to rival Palm Beach County, because we had beautiful hotels in Palm Beach County at the time, and the people from England loved it. So this group of British aristocrats bought the property with a woman leading it. They put together all these fabulous plans to get it done, and then came the Great Depression. So Galt took the property back, and he owned it for many years after that. He owned it for about 40 years, the story goes, because he was very selective on what his buyers would use the property for. It is rumored that one of the buyers had a proposal to build a mobile home park, and he was not down with that, so he wouldn't sell it to them. A little snobby, you think? Anyway, what it is today is all of this. It started with a guy named Hunt, H-U-N-T. I can't remember his first name. He bought the strip. He bought about 2,200 acres out of the 8,000 acre site from Galt, which this beachfront encompassed some of it. And what he did was he built the first high rise on Galt Mile. It's now still standing. It's called the Ocean Manor, and it's actually a fabulous investment because it has a short-term rental license, so you can rent by the day. So, and it's a great property. It's right on the sand, just like most of these on the mile, and it's priced well, and it's really fun. So Ocean Manor, hit me up if you want some more info on that. It's a great property. And then on the strip here, we have the Galleon, we have the Hermitage. This is the southernmost one and one of the newer ones, sort of. It's probably built in the late 90s. If you're interested in more detailed information on the Hermitage or any of the other condos on the strip, just hit me up and I can drill down and get you so much information your eyes will spin into the back of your head, because that's what I do. Anyway, so the Hermitage is nice. The Hermitage is actually one of the priciest buildings on the Galt Mile. There are newer, pricier buildings on Fort Lauderdale Beach, but that's the North Beach section. This is Galt Mile, which goes pretty much from Oakland Park Boulevard to Commercial Boulevard, where you run into Lauderdale by the Sea. All of these condos have been impeccably maintained. And I think along this mile strip of beach known as the Galt Ocean Mile, I don't think there's any single family homes. We'll see if we run into one on the tour, but I don't think so. All high-rise luxury condos and co-ops. So let's keep working up the beach now that you've had a little history. Another thing I wanted to mention about the Galt Ocean Mile is that the beaches are not legally private because the beachfront property is owned by the state of Florida. However, access is difficult, which makes it kind of semi-private and not so much invaded by tourists and all the other people. So, for instance, I had to access the Galt Ocean Mile from the access point at Oakland Park Boulevard and the Hermitage. I cannot go through these private condo properties without a fob or a key until I hit Lauderdale by the Sea at Commercial Boulevard. So it's nice. See, it's not that many people on the beach here. It's lovely. Right out there, you see a number of boats or ships or yachts. You see the big ships over there because the Gulf Stream is super close at this part of Florida. Like, I don't know, less than a nautical mile out. So I just wanted to let you know that the beach here is splendid and not ridden with humans because there's only two access points at the beginning and the end of the mile. The other wonderful thing about buying at this time on the Galt Ocean Mile is that basically it was begun, the cornerstone building was built about 50 years ago. So that's the oldest building here. So it's been through these buildings that are more than 40 and 50 years old were inspected for structural, plumbing, electrical, all the things on the 40 and 50-year inspection, which is statutorily required in Florida. So these buildings, even the old ones, have gone through the inspections and the work. So here's an older building, concrete restoration done, balcony restoration and upgrades done, repainting done. Look at this. All of these buildings, that most of these on this section were built like in the 60s and 70s. All the concrete restoration and all the structural and mechanical upgrade and plumbing upgrades have been done, complied with. Therefore, the assessments have been paid. So if you buy at this time, on most of these buildings, you're not going to have an assessment. The previous owners have already paid for it and done it. If you see work currently getting done when you're shopping for a condo here, or if you see a building that just looks like it was built in the 60s or 70s, and you see that rust coming through the concrete and falling, and old style balconies, red flag is up. Check into it and make sure that they've passed all the milestone inspections and they're either in the process of getting the work done or finished it. Because if you buy something and they're not in the process of doing it, then you better get ready for a sizable assessment for the milestone related to the milestone inspections. So I read somewhere that there are about 21 condo buildings on the Galt Ocean Mile. That's subject to verification. If you know how many buildings there are on the Galt Ocean Mile, let me know in the comments because I'm always trying to trust and verify on my research, especially in a community that's been around for a while. Multiple decades too. This was built out in multiple decades up to present day. So anyway, let me know if 21 buildings is the number here on the beachfront part of Galt Ocean Mile. And you may be wondering why all of this is just condos, or maybe you won't, because it's pretty simple. The reason there's mostly condos here is because everybody wants to have a view of the ocean, those oceanfront condos, and we don't have that much oceanfront property on the planet, never mind in Fort Lauderdale. So in order to capitalize and let more humans have this fantastic view, they went vertical. That's it. Easy answer. Price range on the condos and co-ops on Galt Ocean Mile basically run between about $350,000 for a co-op to $6 million for gorgeous, perfectly placed apartments with a spot-on view of the ocean. So that's your price range, basically from $350,000 co-ops on the sand to condos on the sand, running up to $6 million. Probably the middle range price for a 222 condo over here probably runs around 750 to 800,000. And one bedrooms you might be able to get for 700, but a lot of them go up to around the $1 million point, give or take a couple $100,000 on each side. So behind me, we have one of the condos pretty deep into the throes of concrete restoration. So you see they've taken all the balconies off. They've covered the windows because they're going to paint eventually. Some of the windows have plywood on them to protect from the chunks of concrete that are likely to fall during the restoration process. So if you see a building that's looking like that or looking like that one, red flag goes up. Because if the assessments haven't been paid by the seller yet, then you need to negotiate who's paying that in the contract. And if they haven't even been levied, you need to adjust your offer accordingly because you're going to end up paying it. There we go. This one's getting the concrete restored, getting the windows done, although they look like they're done already. And then comes paint. So all of these things add up. My guess is when this one's done, it'll probably have no color, just like all the other new ones. It's a thing these days, no color. But that'll change. But for now, that one's in process. This one looks freshly repainted. Notice they don't have the glass balconies like some of the others did. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. It just means that's what everybody voted on. And they probably did it for budgetary reasons because the fabricated aluminum railings are probably less expensive than those tinted glass balcony railings. The other thing that's fabulous about living in one of these luxury condos on the beach is that you have staff that brings out your chairs, your umbrellas, and all that. So if you're an owner, you're going to be paying for that service. And if you're a guest, please bring cash and tip the people that work so hard to come out and set up and break down and attend to your needs while you're enjoying the ocean. The building behind me, right there, let's see, the Playa del Mar. Thankfully, they had a sign. I do not know the names of all of these condos off the top of my head. There's just too many, and I don't need to save that info. I can look it up. But if you're interested in any of these or all of these, call me, text me, email me, WhatsApp me, and I'm happy to go through and tour. The reason I stopped in front of the Playa del Mar is to point out that at this building, the owners probably all voted on these beautiful tinted glass railings, and they're all consistent in the building. They all voted that that was the kind they wanted. You can see that the windows are not uniform, so pay attention to that too. If the windows are not uniform, then each unit owner pays for their own window replacement. If they are uniform, then everybody voted on it and everything's going to look the same. But I can tell these are not uniform. I see different versions of impact windows. I see non-impact windows that are pretty, but I can tell they're non-impact maybe because they still have the accordion shutters. But some people put in their hurricane impact windows and still keep the shutters for various reasons. Extra protection, privacy, close it up when they're leaving if they're snowbirds. But I also see some old awning windows right there on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 8th floor. Old awning windows, those are not hurricane impact resistant. That unit does not have accordion shutters. So you got to pay attention to all these details when you're negotiating on the price. So Look for uniformity in the windows for sure. Balconies are usually voted on and they're uniform, but the windows are a big item. You're either going to have to budget to replace your own, or you're going to investigate the quality that the previous owner installed. Now, this building behind me, I would venture to say, was built sometime between the mid-60s and the early 70s. And I'm guessing that because of the style of the balconies. I love that style personally, and it's really a pleasure to see that they were preserved in this building. Given the age of the building, they've more than likely already complied with the milestone inspections and updates. So to preserve that mid-century balcony just makes me smile. And if you look at the building next to it, that is a typical, I think 1980s into the 90s balcony style. Looks like they preserved that too. That doesn't make me smile as much as the mid-century stuff, but maybe it makes you smile. Let me know. What kind of architecture do you prefer? Basically in Florida, let's go back to like the 1920s and go to current day. Let me know what architecture you like for the beachfront projects. So here she is, the first one built on the mile, the Ocean Manor, where you can still buy these units and you are able to rent to tourists the moment you purchase, and even for a day. You can tell that this part of the beach is kind of busier because we have tourists. Yay, we love tourists. And you can come and sit at the tiki bar. You can park on the street or valet park and come enjoy cocktails and light bites at the tiki bar. So no restricted access there. Then we got the Ocean Sky Hotel and Resort next door. And then this one is a perfect example of a work in progress. If you're thinking about buying on the Galt Ocean Mile, besides contacting me, stay at the Ocean Sky Resort or the Ocean Manor. Just spend a little time here, see if you like it. Yeah, so this work in progress is a fabulous example. So you can see they're in progress on the eastern part of the building. If you look towards the west, they've already finished the western part of the building with the fabulous new windows that appear to match, the fabulous new balconies, and I'm sure all the structural and mechanical items have been addressed as well. So they're almost done. The other thing to note on this building, which is pretty cool, is how it curves in. It was a good design by the architect to give as many people as possible a direct ocean view, as opposed to making it rectangular and only seeing a piece of the ocean or a parking lot or A1A. Nice design. Whew, I needed to take a break and come to the tiki bar and get myself a little Aperol spritz in a plastic cup. You are on the beach, you know. Now we're on the A1A side of Galt Ocean Mile. So basically, there are all the condos, and behind them is the beach, the Atlantic Ocean. So we're looking east. And then if we spin around, we've got A1A, which is the main road on the barrier island of Fort Lauderdale. The other side of A1A is still Galt Ocean Mile, but that's not the beachfront condos. We just did beachfront today. But there are so many fabulous condos and co-ops, just steps to the beach. So you can either look at the beach out your window, or you can just look at the fabulous landscaping, be convenient to all the things on the beach, and walk over to the beach, especially here by the Ocean Manor. So over here, I'm at Galt Ocean Marketplace, just to give you an idea of the little shopping center and how everything is here on the beach. You don't have to go across the bridge to the mainland if you don't want to. You can just get in those flip-flops and stay in them all year long. I lived on this end of the beach, a little bit south, North Beach in Fort Lauderdale, for about a decade of my life, and I loved it. I worked in Miami, went to the rat race practicing law, came home, got into my flip-flops, and slowed it down every single day. So if you want to do that every single day, call me. Let's get you on the beach. So the marketplace here is just a little strip center. but it's got all the things. It's got Winn-Dixie, it's a grocery store here, a Dunkin' Donuts, Holy Cross, even doctors' hospitals, not hospitals, a medical group here, a tourist shop for t-shirts and sundries, a New York deli over there, a pizza place, nail salon, hair salon, liquor store, bars. You have everything you need right here. And this is just one of the little shopping centers on the Galt Ocean Mile. There's another one a little bit north, which has more restaurants, delicious. Cafe Vico and a few other nice restaurants, chef owned and delicious. Look at this beautiful walkway and sidewalk on the Galt Ocean Mile. So you can walk here to the grocery store, the nail salon, the doctor's office, whatever it is, or you can walk north to the restaurants, or you can walk south. That's where we're going to see the other fabulous restaurants and places of interest here on the Galt Ocean Mile. Even look at that fabulous little bench there. It's nice. Looks like it's made of teak. It says IPE surfaces. It's lovely. A lovely park bench on the sidewalk at Galt Ocean Mile. Ooh, sun's coming again. The other thing to note when you're on A1A and driving and getting acquainted with the Galt Ocean Mile is that there are a lot of small hotels. There are some big ones, some franchises, and there are a lot of what they call mom and pop hotels that you can stay in. Here, this one here is getting a nice renovation. I don't know the name of it, but it's right across from Winn-Dixie. 3811 North Ocean Boulevard is also known as A1A. 3811. You might want to book a room there while they're new. And you just steps to the beach and you can do all your research on buying an oceanfront condo or close to the oceanfront condo. The other thing is, so we talked about that the ocean is east, the other side of Winn-Dixie here, that we just did our tour of the beachfront condominiums and co-ops. But there are also fabulous condos and co-ops on the west side of North Ocean Boulevard, or A1A, that have fabulous views of the Intracoastal Waterway and the skyline of Fort Lauderdale at night. It's when it shows up best. Of course, there's a skyline during the day, but I prefer nighttime views of city skylines. But anyway, just don't eliminate, don't necessarily stick to oceanfront view condos unless that's what you want. Then that's what you want, that's what you're gonna get. But Galt Ocean Mile and Fort Lauderdale Beach have amazing properties with views of the Intracoastal Waterway and the city of Fort Lauderdale skyline. There's another little shopping center I'm going by here. CVS Pharmacy, a bakery, Sherwin-Williams paint store, another vape shop. Yeah, nice little shopping center. Oh, and this little bar here, Ocean's Grill, it's fabulous. My apologies, I earlier said that Cafe Vico was north of Ocean Manor, but it's not. Here's where Cafe Vico used to be. Before that, it was Nick's. Now it's Nona's. Nona's Italian Tequileria. Tequileria? What's that? Italian food and tequila? All right. Sounds good to me. Another vape shop, an interior designer, another fitness center, probably a couple of realtors here, massage, and, various small businesses here on the Galt Ocean Mile. And don't forget, you have all those fabulous condos and co-ops on the Intracoastal Waterway. Now we're going to head over to my little favorite part of the Galt Ocean Mile, just north of Oakland Park Boulevard. A couple of little side streets that are adorable, that have all kinds of businesses that you might need. Restaurants, bars, and my favorite, Blue Jean Blues. So Blue Jean Blues is a bar that has live music 365 nights a year. Not to be missed. Blue Jean Blues, don't forget it. It's usually blues or jazz musicians. They are amazing. And 365 days a year. That's what I'm talking about. We got a little sushi song and Thai to go. We got the Reef Discovery Center. That's new. Custom framing and art shipping. A nice little restaurant here. Looks like it's Italian. Also, the Etno Rosso, a true Sicilian story. That used to be an ice cream parlor. Looks like they serve some good espresso, that's for sure. And you can't go wrong with Italian food in my book. We have Galt Realty. They probably have a lot of listings here. So we'll hit them up on their listings, but I'll represent you as a buyer just to make sure everything is good. You got the Domino's and Papa John's, Coral Ridge Towers. These are fabulous co-ops here with a view of the Intracoastal. So quite affordable because they're co-ops. And if you want to know the difference between a co-op and a condo, call me, text me, email me, WhatsApp me, because I can get into all the details. Some of them might matter to you, and some of them might not. There is a difference from a legal standpoint, but it depends upon your use and whether how deep your investment motive is. All right, crossing A1A now. Remember what A1A is also known as? North Ocean Boulevard on this end of town. Here we go. Let's see. Over here, we're going to start looking at the businesses on these cute little streets. Here's one of them. Not much going on this first one. I can tell you what's here, though. We've got a medical building, a dry cleaner, an eye doctor, an art gallery, a chiropractor, massage therapist, acupuncture physician. Coming soon, A&S Lux Interiors, Anastasios Interiors. All right. So an interior designer must be of some Greek heritage, given the name. Speaking of Greek, right across the street is the Greek islands. Doesn't look like anything fancy. Let me tell you, it's the best Greek food in the city, in all of Fort Lauderdale, maybe in all of South Florida. If you're going to go to the Greek islands, I think they take reservations. If they do, make them, because it's always busy. So this is the beginning of the Galt Ocean Mile. Down here is where we have fabulous small businesses and restaurants. Fishtails Restaurant is fabulous. They have live music there a lot. I don't think they have 365 days a year like Blue Jean Blues, but a lot. Food's pretty good. You know, it's not high-end gourmet stuff, but it's good enough while you're listening to music and dancing. A lot of times it's local talent, a lot of cover bands, maybe 70s and 80s rock music. That's what I've experienced in there. Over here we've got a hair salon. Wow, that guy just gave me the finger. You know, I guess when you have a selfie stick, people give you the finger now and then. Scala Pasta, Italian bistro and pasta shop. I've never been there. It looks good. Hair salon across the street. Esthetician across the street. Yoga, Bombay Room Yoga Studio. A dentist. A vape shop. Hookah bar. It is. Nice coffee shop and restaurant. Colombian food and coffee. Got Lawrence Black PA, law office for trust, wills, probate estates, real estate, and community association law. Well, he's in the right spot. La Dolce Vita, Italian restaurant. Lena's Nail Studio for hair, nails, facial. Mortgage company. And this looks like my favorite little spot. Oh yeah. Blue Jean Blues, baby. The best spot on 33rd Street, actually, in the city. 365 nights a year, live music, jazz, blues, original stuff. I don't think I've ever seen a cover band in there. Nothing against cover bands. I love cover bands. Whether they do it exactly as I remember it in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, or whether they put their own spin on it. I love music. That's all there is to it. So we have an eyewear shop. You can buy glasses. We got Java Cat and Dog Spa. My mom used to love that place. She had a cat that always got the lion cut. Pio was her cat's name. She liked Padre Pio. And she loved that cat too. Oh my God. And then we got little boutiques here. Always with a sale, you know, beachy clothes. Cotton, beachy stuff. Throws, bathing suits, all the things. So if you forget to pack your beach stuff, just come over here to Very Boutiquey. Very Boutiquey. Very Boutiquey, that is. There's no L in it. Very Boutiquey. And then Full Circle Music. sales and service. And then we've got a pool hall, beach billiards over here. And then we have these fabulous condo buildings and co-op buildings, all with views of the Intracoastal Waterway and just steps to the Atlantic Ocean and all the beachfront condos and all the restaurants. I'm signing off right now because I want to go into Full Circle Music and see what they have. Are you kidding? Okay, I've stopped in the music store. I didn't buy anything yet. So now we're in front of Spread Love, Heal the Planet crew. They're amazing people. They have little spots all over Fort Lauderdale, and they have an annual festival of vegan foods and all things to be mindful of our planet and not destroying it. So healtheplanet.com. Check them out. They work hard to raise awareness and individually do what's required to keep this beautiful planet alive, baby. All right, we got Patrizia's of New York City, baby. Delicious Italian food. So now we're on the next street of those cute little streets I said. So we were on 33rd. Now we're over here, whatever the other one is closest to Oakland Park Boulevard. We got hair salons. We got boat campers. Looks like we have some sort of a city building there. I don't know what that's about. Yes, I'll have to check it. Anything from New York City with an Italian sounding name sounds good to me. We got a coffee and tea shop across the street. Interior designers on these streets for sure. And hair salons. Vintage furniture store. There's vintage 20th century furnishings. We got a bikini shop. We've got another fitness spot. Hair salons. A lot of hair salons on this street. That's good. I like it when everybody's in one spot. Latitude Key Collective vacation rentals and property management. Probably a good idea if you're going to buy a condo on the ocean and you plan on renting it out. Get a professional property manager to handle that for you. It's quite a transient spot, so better if you have a pro vet them for you. There's an ice cream store. Well, sort of. Cappuccino, espresso, gelato, beer and wine. There's one little vacancy here. Used to be the Health and Wellness Center. We've got the boardroom bar, the Latin Grill, VIP room, barbecue restaurant, and Walgreens. So we had little Marcello Sports to get board shorts and flip-flops and things like that. So, well, I hope you've enjoyed today's tour of the east side of A1A or North Ocean Boulevard at the Galt Mile. I'm here in front of the Earl Lifshee Ocean Park. It's a small little park, but it's a park nonetheless. We love parks in Fort Lauderdale. You'll probably see a park featured in every one of my videos. So this one's the Earl Lifshee Ocean Park. If you want me to do some research on who Earl Lifshee was, hit me up in the comments and I'll do it. I can tell you that what I do know of this park and this area is that the Hermitage, when they built the Hermitage Towers, it was in the 90s, the late 90s, they were required by the city to dedicate a portion of their land purchase as a public park. So we got a little teeny weeny little park here, but I'm grateful for every bit of land that's open to the public and dedicated to preserving the beach. At this, we even have a little library here. We have a lot of those in the city too. We have garbage cans. Please use them. And remember, the biggest and most important part about living on the beach is being a responsible human and not destroying it. Save it for future generations. Here's a 9-point source: pollution prevention. So NPS is caused by rainfall moving over and through the ground, carrying with it pollutants such as litter, lawn, garden, household chemicals, pet waste, etc. Some examples that will reduce NPS pollution: don't litter, properly dispose of animal waste, shop wisely, buy products labeled biodegradable, non-toxic, non-phosphorus, or water-soluble, apply lawn and garden chemicals and fertilizers sparingly and according to directions, stop oil and gas leakage onto the ground from automotive and lawn equipment, do not dispose of used oil and other products into storm drains. Well, duh. So no matter where you live and how big you think this blue ball that we live on can take it, it can't. The cumulative effect can be devastating for future generations. So that's my little PSA. Don't ruin the planet. Thank you for joining me today. And if you want to see any other part of Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Palm Beach, Boca, Plantation, Davie, any of the suburbs, call me, text me, WhatsApp me, email me, hit me up in whatever way you prefer. And I'm happy to do some research, meet with you, show you around, meet with you virtually or in person, and enjoy Florida and its robust and fabulous history. Thanks again for joining. Peace.